Ladies and gentlemen, every single morning you wake up as proof that God is not done with you yet. That breath you just took wasn't your alarm clock. It wasn't your willpower. It was God's grace. The question is, do you recognize it? Do you start your day with His blessings? Or do you rush past them like they don't exist? Let me tell you something. The very first thing you think when your eyes open sets the tone for the entire day. Most people roll over, grab their phone, and start scrolling through the problems of the world before they have even said, "Thank you for being alive." But let me tell you something. Gratitude is more powerful than any to-do list, any news headline, or any worry on your mind. If you wake up complaining, you invite negativity before your feet even hit the floor. Gratitude shifts the atmosphere. It reminds you that no matter what's missing, you still have something left. That bed you woke up in, somebody is praying for that. That roof over your head, somebody doesn't have one. That food in your kitchen, somebody's hungry right now. Gratitude doesn't ignore your struggles, but it forces you to focus on your blessings. And focusing on your blessings brings more blessings into view. Complaints drain you before you even start. You complain about how early it is, how tired you are, how much you have to do, and suddenly the whole day feels heavy. Gratitude does the opposite. It lightens the load, it lifts your spirit, it gives you the strength to move forward instead of dragging your feet. When you choose gratitude first thing in the morning, you walk into the day with energy instead of exhaustion. Think about how many mornings you have wasted starting in the wrong mindset. Complaining about the alarm clock, the bills, the job, the responsibilities. But has complaining ever changed any of that? No. If anything, it made you resent what you actually prayed for. You prayed for or a job. Now you complain about going. You prayed for a place to live. Now you complain about rent. Gratitude realigns you with the truth. You are living inside of answered prayers right now. When you wake up with gratitude, you start noticing little things you used to overlook. The sunlight sneaking through your curtains, the sound of your children's laughter, and the fact that you can move your arms and legs without help. These are miracles we take for granted. Gratitude wakes you up twice, once physically, once spiritually. It makes you aware that today is not just another day, it's another chance. Complaining will rob you of perspective. It makes you blind to what God is doing in your life. Gratitude opens your eyes wide. It allows you to see that God's hand has been on you all along, even in the seasons you thought He had forgotten you. Gratitude reminds you that if He woke you up, He still has something for you to do. That alone is reason to say thank you. Before you complain about the day ahead, stop and reframe it. Wake up and declare, "I'm blessed to see another sunrise. I'm grateful for another shot. I may not have everything I want, but I have more than I deserve." That shift will carry you farther than a cup of coffee ever could. Because gratitude doesn't just wake your body up, it wakes your soul up. We live our lives so fast that we forget the most important gift is happening in us every single second. Breath. You don't think about it. You don't ask for it. But without it, nothing else matters. That first inhale when you wake up in the morning isn't just your body doing its job. It's God saying, "I'm not finished with you yet." When you realize how valuable that is, you stop treating life like it's automatic and start treating it like it's intentional. Think about how many times do we complain about not having enough money, not having enough opportunities, not having enough recognition, while we completely overlook the fact that we have life itself. Somebody went to sleep last night and didn't wake up. Somebody's last breath was yesterday, and here you are breathing again today. If you woke up and you are still breathing, you are already richer than you think. Breath is the one blessing that levels the playing field. Rich or poor, old or young, everybody depends on it. But most people waste it. They use their breath to speak negativity, to gossip, to curse their own future, instead of using it to speak life, to encourage, to pray. If breath is the first blessing you are given each morning, then the first words that leave your mouth should honor the one who gave it to you. When you really stop and think about breathing, it humbles you. You don't control it. You don't flip a switch to keep it going. It's happening while you are asleep, when you are not even conscious, because God's hand is sustaining you. That means every new morning is an unearned. You didn't earn another sunrise. You didn't earn another inhale. You received it. That realization alone should change the way you approach your day. Breath is also a reminder of fragility. You are one breath away from everything being different. That's why every single one counts. When you see life like that, you stop wasting time on petty arguments, on grudges, on bitterness. You start valuing the fact that, as long as you can breathe, you still have another chance to love better, to forgive quicker, to live full. That's the blessing hidden in something we all take for granted. People wait for miracles, but what bigger miracle is there than the air moving in and out of your lungs? Machines and hospitals are built just to keep people breathing, and you have been doing it freely all this time. That should shake you awake. That should make you realize that every moment is sacred. Every breath is an opportunity to choose gratitude over negativity, faith over fear, purpose over procrastination. So the next time you open your eyes, don't rush past. Don't let your first thought be about your schedule or your stress. Acknowledge the gift. Put your hand on your chest. Feel that heartbeat. Feel that breath, and know that it's proof God still has you here for a reason. That alone should push you to step into your day with reverence, with energy, and with a deep sense of responsibility, to use the breath you have been given wisely. The words you speak over yourself in the morning carry more power than you realize. Too many people wake up and let negativity be the first voice they hear, whether it's from the news, social media, or their own self-doubt. If you don't take control of your day with your own words, the world will fill that silence for you and it won't be positive. That's why you have got to be intentional about speaking life before anything else gets a chance to plant seeds of death. Your tongue is like a steering wheel. It sets the direction of your entire day. If you get up and immediately say, "I'm tired, I can't handle, today is going to be stressful," you have already prophesied negativity into your morning. But if you get up and declare, "I am blessed, I am favored, and I am equipped to handle this day," you shift the entire atmosphere. Your situation may not change instantly, but your attitude toward it does. Words create energy. You have felt it before. Somebody said something kind to you and suddenly you felt stronger. Somebody spoke doubt over you, and suddenly you question yourself. Now imagine the effect of your own words on your spirit. You hear yourself more than you hear anybody else. So why wouldn't you use that voice to build yourself up? Speaking life isn't just motivational talk. It's spiritual warfare. It's choosing to align your mouth with faith instead of fear. If you don't guard your mornings, the world will attack. You will turn on the news and hear about a tragedy. You will scroll your feed and see people complaining, comparing, and competing. You will hear coworkers venting and friends doubting. That's why your voice has to be louder in your own life than all those other voices. If you fill yourself up with life-giving words first, the death-filled words won't stick. They will bounce off a heart that's already armored in truth. Some people think speaking life is about ignoring reality, but that's not true. Speaking life is about choosing which reality you want to focus on. The reality of your problems, or the reality of God's promises. Yes, you may have bills. Yes, you may have obstacles, but you also have breath. You have purpose. You have another chance. Which one do you choose to magnify with your words? Because whatever you magnify will dominate your day. It's not enough to think positive thoughts. You have got to speak them out loud. There's power in hearing your own voice. Declare victory. When you say, "I'm going to make it through this day," something shifts inside of you. When you say, "I will not be defeated today," your spirit rises. That spoken word becomes a reminder throughout the day. When negativity tries to creep back in, your words become your weapon. So before the world gets a chance to tell you who you are, you need to tell yourself who you are. Speak life into your morning. Declare blessings over your family. Command peace into your household, and claim strength over your body. If you set that tone early, you won't crumble when challenges come. You will rise because your day started with life, not death. One of the first mistakes people make in the morning is reaching for their phone before they reach for God. Before their feet even touch the ground, they are scrolling through texts, emails, social media, and news updates. What happens? They invite stress, comparison, and distraction into their spirit before they have even whispered a prayer. That tiny screen has the power to hijack your peace, if you let it. That's why the first thing you should reach for every morning is gratitude toward God, not a notification. When you wake up, you are waking up to a brand new day that you didn't earn, and you don't control. That's God's gift to you. But if you immediately put your eyes on your phone, you miss the chance to recognize that miracle. You start your day reacting instead of reflecting. You start responding to people's demands before you have even acknowledged the one who gave you the ability to respond at all. That's how so many people live in constant anxiety. They start with chaos instead of calm. Your phone is not evil, but it's a terrible master. It will feed you other people's opinions, other people's problems, and other people's priorities before you have even spoken over your own life. But when you start with thanksgiving, when you open your eyes and say, "Thank you, God, for letting me see another day," you shift the power dynamic. You tell your spirit, God's voice is first. Everything else can wait. That order matters. Think about how different your mornings would feel if you created space before technology. Instead of rushing to check likes, messages, or deadlines, you pause to breathe, to pray, to acknowledge God's presence. That kind of start doesn't just affect your morning. It sets the tone for your entire day. You walk into work calmer. You face problems with more clarity. You interact with people with more patience. That's the ripple effect of putting God before your phone. Gratitude in the morning resets your perspective. It reminds you that before the texts, before the bills, before the deadlines, you are blessed to be alive. That single reminder is more powerful than any breaking news or viral post. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. It becomes your instinct to thank God first, not your habit to scroll first. That's how you break free from the trap of letting technology decide your mood. So many people say they don't have time for prayer, but they spend 30 minutes mindlessly scrolling before they get out of bed. The truth is, it's not about time. It's about priorities. If God gave you the gift of another day, then He deserves acknowledgement before anything else. Even if it's just a few words, "God, thank you for waking me up." That small act of gratitude is greater than hours of distraction on your phone. When you choose to thank God before touching your phone, you are declaring that your spirit comes before your screen. You are saying, "I want to start with peace, not pressure. I want to start with blessings, not burdens." And that choice changes everything, because the way you start your day determines how you live. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing they have to work their way into God's grace. They think if they pray enough, give enough, do enough, they will finally be worthy of His blessings. But grace doesn't work like that. Grace is not a paycheck you earn after a long week. It's a gift freely given every single morning. If you woke up today, you already experienced it before you even got out of bed. Grace means you didn't have to be perfect to be here. You didn't have to get every decision right. You didn't have to be flawless yesterday, and you didn't have to live up to anyone else's standards. God gave you another chance, not because of what you did, but because of who He is. That should humble you and strengthen you at the same time, because it takes the pressure off of trying to earn something that's already been handed to you. When you understand that grace is given, you stop walking around with guilt and shame weighing you down. You stop replaying every mistake from yesterday as if they disqualified you from today. Grace wipes the slate clean. It says, "Yes, you messed up, but I still chose to wake you up." That's not weakness, that's power. That's God reminding you that His mercy outruns your failure. People who believe they have to earn grace live exhausted lives. They constantly measure themselves against impossible standards, feeling like they are never enough. But the truth is, you will never be enough on your own, and you don't have to be. Grace fills in the gap between who you are and who you are called to be. It's not about you climbing your way up. It's about God reaching His hand down. Think about how much freedom that brings. If grace is a gift, then your only job is to receive it. And when you receive it, you live differently. You stop striving to prove yourself to everyone. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop doubting whether you belong. Grace anchors you in the truth that you are here because God decided you should be, and nothing can undo that. The world teaches you that everything must be earned: money, status, recognition. But grace breaks that rule. Grace shows up when you least deserve it. Grace covers you when you thought you were too broken. Grace finds you in the middle of your weakness and gives you the strength you didn't know you had. That's not something you can work for. It's something you can only marvel at. So when you wake up in the morning, don't start by listing what you think you need to do to be good enough today. Instead, realize you already started the day in grace. Realize that your very breath is evidence that God chose to give, not because you earned it, but because He loves you. And when you walk in that understanding, your entire perspective shifts. You stop living like you are trying to earn approval and start living like you already have it. Many people wake up every morning praying for money, success, health, or things they can see, and while those prayers are important, they often miss the point. You can have every blessing in the world, but if you are heading in the wrong direction, it won't matter. That's why your first prayer each morning should be for guidance, for clarity, and for God to direct your steps before you ask Him to provide. Direction matters more than provision, because provision without wisdom can be dangerous. You might receive a check, a promotion, or an opportunity, but if you don't know how to handle it, it can bring stress, conflict, and even loss. Praying for direction ensures that when God opens doors, you walk through the right one. It aligns your desires with His plan, so that blessings don't become burdens. When you start the day asking for direction, you permit God to lead you. You acknowledge that your own understanding is limited, and that you need divine input. That kind of prayer creates a mindset of humility and attentiveness, which makes you more aware of opportunities, signs, and the people God places in your path. Direction is like a GPS for your life. Without it, you are wandering even if your pockets are full. Provision is important, yes, but without direction, it can be wasted. Money can disappear, success can fade, and relationships can break if they are not guided by wisdom. Direction stabilizes your journey. It helps you prioritize, make decisions, and avoid unnecessary mistakes. Praying for direction first gives every blessing you receive a purpose. It transforms ordinary provision into extraordinary results when you know exactly where to apply it. Think about how many people chase wealth, recognition, or comfort, but end up unhappy or unfulfilled. The problem isn't the blessings, they are gifts from God. It's the lack of guidance on how to use them wisely. That's why asking for direction is more valuable than asking for $1 million. With the right path, even a small blessing can multiply beyond what you imagine. Praying for direction also guards against pride. When you ask God to guide your steps, you are admitting that you can't do it alone. You are putting yourself under God's leadership, which strengthens your character and shapes your decision. You start trusting His timing, His methods, and His wisdom instead of forcing your own agenda. And that trust carries over into every part of your day. When you rise in the morning, don't just pray for a bigger paycheck or easier circumstance. Begin with, Lord, show me the right steps to take today. Show me where to go, what to say, and how to act. Direction first, provision second. Because when God guides your path, everything He provides will land exactly where it's supposed to, and your day will flow with purpose instead of chaos. The morning sets the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up in a rush, stressed or anxious, that energy doesn't stay in your bedroom. It follows you out the door. But if you take a moment to cultivate peace, to center yourself in God's presence, you carry a shield that protects you from the chaos waiting outside. Peace isn't just a feeling. It's a strategy for surviving and thriving in a world that never slows down. Peace in the morning requires intention. It's not automatic. You have to decide to step into it before the noise of the world hits you. That might mean praying, meditating, journaling, or simply sitting in silence for a few moments and acknowledging God's presence. Whatever it takes, make it deliberate. That morning, peace becomes the anchor that keeps your day from drifting into confusion, stress, or panic. Carrying peace doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means facing them from a place of stability. Life will always throw curveballs. Traffic will test your patience. People will push your buttons. But when you start your day with peace, you respond instead of reacting. You make decisions with clarity instead of chaos. You hold your composure while others lose theirs.
and you set a tone that influences everyone around you. Peace is contagious. When you carry it into your home, your workplace, and your interactions, people notice. Your calm presence can diffuse tension, inspire confidence, and create a space where solutions emerge instead of arguments. That's the power of starting your day, rooted in God's peace. It doesn't just affect you, it affects your entire environment. Morning peace is also a reminder that God is in control, even when the day looks out of control. When you meditate on His faithfulness and sovereignty, you are less likely to be shaken by the unpredictability around you. You are reminded that you don't have to solve every problem, live on your own. God's peace provides perspective, showing you what matters and what doesn't, and giving you the strength to focus on what truly moves you forward. The challenge is maintaining that peace once the world starts demanding your attention. Emails, meetings, family responsibilities, they all scream for your energy. But when you start your day centered, you carry an inner calm that doesn't get swallowed by noise. That calm allows you to think clearly, act decisively, and respond with wisdom, rather than emotion. It becomes a secret weapon that protects your joy and effectiveness. So, as you step out each morning, remind yourself that peace isn't just a luxury, it's essential. Breathe deeply, acknowledge God's presence, and hold on to the quiet assurance that He is guiding you. Carry that peace with you through the chaos, and watch how it transforms, not just your day, but the way the world interacts with you. Many people look for blessings in grand gestures, big paychecks, or flashy opportunities. But God's most powerful gifts are often simple, quiet, and easy to overlook. A roof over your head, a meal on the table, a loving family, or even the ability to see and hear. These are blessings, wrapped in simplicity. The problem is the world trains us to ignore the small miracles and only notice the big ones. The truth is, these small blessings are the foundation of every big blessing you will ever receive. You can't enjoy success if you don't have health. You can't cultivate wealth if you don't have peace of mind. You can't achieve your purpose if you don't have clarity and wisdom. God places these gifts in your life quietly, so you can recognize that He is faithful, even when things don't feel dramatic or flashy. People often miss God's blessings because they are too busy complaining about what they don't have. They focus on the car they can't afford, the job they didn't get, or the recognition that hasn't come yet. But when you take a moment to pause and acknowledge what is already present, you begin to see that God has been moving in your life all along. These small blessings accumulate and eventually become the launching pad for the big ones. Even challenges can be blessings in disguise. That struggle at work might be teaching you patience. That argument with a loved one might be sharpening your communication. That financial strain might be redirecting you to a smarter path. God often hides lessons, growth, and preparation within the ordinary, waiting for you to recognize their value. It's in the small, consistent moments that His favor quietly builds. Recognizing simple blessings requires awareness and intentionality. It means starting your day with your eyes open, not just physically, but spiritually. Notice the air you breathe, the sunrise, the cup of coffee, the smile from someone you love. God's fingerprints are all over the little things. And when you start seeing them, your perspective shifts from scarcity to abundance, from complaint to gratitude. Gratitude for simple blessings fuels contentment. When you acknowledge that even the small things are orchestrated by God, you stop comparing your life to others. You stop chasing every big dream with desperation, because you begin to trust that God's plan is unfolding, often in ways you can't immediately see. What seems ordinary today might be the building block of extraordinary things tomorrow. Train yourself to see the simple gifts around you. Look for the subtle signs of God's presence in your life. Pay attention to the quiet miracles that are easy to dismiss, but impossible to replace. When you recognize these, your He opens to the magnitude of His care, and your day begins with a sense of wonder and appreciation that amplifies everything else you encounter. Life is full of storms, and they come when you least expect them. Bills pile up, relationships get tense, health issues arise, and plans fall apart. It's easy to forget, in the middle of the chaos, that the blessings you already have are still intact. Storms don't cancel God's favor. They don't erase what He has already given. and they certainly don't remove the purpose He has placed in your life. When a storm hits, perspective is everything. It's easy to focus only on the rain and the wind, the problems and setbacks. But if you pause and look around, you will see the blessings that are still standing strong. Your home, your family, your health, the roof over your head, the strength to face challenges. These things remain. Storms might shake your world, but they cannot undo what God has already blessed you with. The key is to remind yourself daily that storms are temporary, but God's goodness is eternal. The thunder, the pressure, the uncertainty, they are all part of life, but they are not the final word. Blessings don't disappear just because you can't see them clearly in the storm. Sometimes the storm even strengthens the blessing, preparing it for a bigger purpose, building resilience, and deepening your faith. Gratitude during storms is a powerful weapon. When you focus on what's still good, what's still working, and what's still present, you create a shield against despair. It's easy to complain when things go wrong, but gratitude reminds you that God has already equipped you with resources, skills, and people to navigate the storm. Recognizing blessings amid difficulty shifts your energy from panic to empowerment. Storms are also teachers. They show you how to rely on God rather than your own strength. They reveal hidden capacities inside you and encourage you to develop patience, wisdom, and faith. When you keep in mind that blessings are untouched by storms, you approach challenges, not with fear, but with confidence, knowing that the foundation of your life remains firm and unshakable. People often measure blessings by comfort, but true blessings endure storm. The challenges might make you uncomfortable, but they don't take away the life you have, the love you receive, or the opportunities that God is still placing in your path. Storms are temporary tests of endurance, but blessings are long-term investments in your faith, character, and future. Remind yourself that even if the wind is strong and the waves are high, God's hand is still on you. Your blessings are still present, intact, and active. They aren't erased by difficulties. They are reinforced by perspective and faith. When you carry that truth with you into the day, storms lose their power to overwhelm, and your spirit stays anchored in gratitude and trust. Fear is a morning thief. It sneaks in while you are still in bed, whispering worries about bills, deadlines, relationships, or the If you allow fear to dominate your first thoughts, it sets a tone for the entire day, draining your energy and clouding your decisions. But faith has the power to shut fear down before it even gets started, and that's why the first choice you make every morning should be faith, not starting your day with faith doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means acknowledging God's presence and power above them. It means saying, I may not know what today holds, but I trust the one who does. When you prioritize faith first, fear loses its grip. Your mind becomes a battlefield, where faith is the weapon, protecting your thoughts and actions from being hijacked by worry or doubt. Faith transforms how you see obstacles. A problem that would paralyze a fearful heart becomes a challenge that a faithful heart can tackle. Faith reminds you that you are not walking into the day alone. You are walking under God's guidance, strength, and protection. Fear makes mountains out of molehills, but faith reveals opportunities hidden within challenges, giving you the courage to move forward. Fear often comes from a place of uncertainty, but faith provides clarity. It doesn't promise that difficulties won't exist, but it promises that you have the capacity backed by God to overcome them. When you choose faith over fear, your perspective shifts. You start looking for solutions instead of problems, hope instead of despair, and light instead of darkness. That shift is what separates people who succeed from those who remain stuck in worry. People spend mornings anticipating the worst-case scenario, playing out every negative possibility in their minds, but fear only produces anxiety and hesitation. Faith, on the other hand, fuels confidence and action. Faith reminds you that God's plan is bigger than your fears, and that He is already at work preparing outcomes that you cannot yet see. That assurance changes the way you respond to challenges and opportunities alike. Starting the day with faith is a deliberate choice. It requires prayer, affirmation, and conscious focus. Speak words of trust aloud. God is with me. God is guiding me. God is my strength. Let those words set the tone before the world demands your attention, or doubt creeps in. Those words are not empty, they are declarations that shape your reality, opening your heart to divine guidance and protection. Take a stand against fear. Remind yourself that faith is stronger than worry, that God's presence is greater than your problems, and that today is not defined by what could go wrong, but by who is walking with you through it. Begin your day with trust in Him, letting that faith dictate your actions, your attitude and your energy before the world even begins to speak.